Alright, hello everybody, good evening to our live coding React Native series. We've changed the date, that's the first statement I have to make. We changed the date for Thursday. So instead of Wednesday, we're going to have our live coding series on Thursdays now. Hopefully that is going to be alright with you guys. And yeah, welcome back. Welcome everybody, whoever is gonna be here for the first time tonight, and welcome all other people who come back to this live coding series every week. I do want to thank you all for all the support and kind of feedback I'm getting. You are the best, and obviously without you guys it wouldn't be possible to run this series, so thank you very much for coming every week. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for the answers on the question that was asked on the Selka Digital Facebook page a couple of days ago. You replied to that quite quickly, and you asked really good questions. You said whatever you want to see tonight, so I do appreciate that you spent some time answering those questions. And yeah, so you asked for Redux mostly, and I'm assuming that you are interested in seeing how Redux works, or with things that can be done with Redux. So tonight I've prepared a bit of an agenda, which are the tasks on the left hand side. I know that last week we were in the middle of accessing the database and trying to store the images that we were uploading to our React Native application, but just to make a bit of a change, I'm gonna park it for now, and we'll take a look. We'll spike on the Firebase Authentication, and we will be doing a bit of authentication and authorization work from now on for probably a couple of weeks or 3 weeks that are in front of us. So let me just put this back to tasks, and we're going to bring this spike on Firebase Auth card to in progress. And this is what we are going to be focusing on tonight, because that is going to be using Redux at some point as well. We will want to authenticate and authorize certain bits of the store, certain bits of Redux state management, and this is what we will need to spike on first, because I haven't used it before. So this is going to be our first task to do. As you can see, we are still good to go. Let me know if the font size is okay, if you want me to increase it, or if it's actually all right. Just do let me know in the comments. Got a first question asking if I'm going to be starting from scratch. I am not going to be starting from scratch, because we want to have this app in a kind of working state. I don't really get your question. So the question is, want to ask whether you think this is the best language for coming time. Not sure what that question is all about. But yeah, so let's just run the app first of all, see if everything works, and then the second thing is gonna be, okay, so I'm gonna increase the font size a little bit, just to make sure you guys can see everything all right. I can't go too far, obviously, because it's gonna be it's not gonna be readable. So it kind of has to meet you somewhere in the middle. Hopefully this is gonna be a bit better. Right, so let's go to Firebase and let's see what kind of authentication API is in there. As I said, I haven't used it before, so this is gonna be the first time we're gonna be doing it. But the plan is to implement the authentication. So it's gonna be the authentication form where we are going to be signing up or logging in, and then with that we will guard certain routes as well. So our router, our navigation is going to be guarded based on the authentication, and also we're going to guard certain parts of the store. I mean Redux, obviously. So when the user is signed in, we're going to be allowing that client to use certain parts of Redux store, and when the user is signed out, then that store will have to be kind of cleared out, so we don't expose any kind of sensitive data to anybody at any point. And yeah, let's have a quick spike on the authentication. It looks like there are some basic methods of how people could sign up to Firebase or using Firebase. So there is classic email and password based authentication, federated identity provider integration, which is Google, Facebook, Twitter, or GitHub, phone number authentication, custom auth system, anonymous auth, and this is all that comes out of the box from Firebase. So now let's have a quick look at how they implement it. So using Firebase UI auth, you can set up sign-in methods, you can customize the sign-in UI, you can use Firebase UI to perform the sign-in flow. Now, the second one is using the Firebase Authentication SDK, which allows you to set up sign-in methods, implement UI flows for your sign-in methods, pass the user credentials to the Firebase Authentication SDK. And now you can basically select what kind of language you want to go for, what kind of integration you want to use for this particular thing, and it's up to you to take it forward, right? So obviously using Firebase UI will be kind of simple and straightforward, I would believe, as it comes with their own UI, and I'm assuming that they have all components needed already included in that kind of method. But because we are doing some sort of custom build, we're going to go for the authentication SDK, so we can connect it to our own form. We will actually pass the data, the credentials ourselves to the Firebase Authentication SDK, and then based on that we can do the following actions, whatever it is, you know, navigating the user away from the sign in or sign up form. So let's check the web, let's see what the API looks like, and see if we can just kind of use it out of the box straight away. So we can see that there is the sign up new users example, and there is also sign in existing users example. And there are some other authentication methods listed here. So we are just going to create a new new user first of all. So what we will need to do, we will probably need a route which has the form. So what we have to do, we have to build kind of basic form where we can fetch the data from the user. We have to kind of either gather or ask user to input something into that form so we can let them sign in. And yeah, let's do it straight away. Let's not waste any time. So I'm just gonna create a new screen called login screen. What I'm actually gonna do here, what we can do is to create authenticated and unauthenticated structures within our screens. But I'm gonna create the login screen first. Sorry, not the login. What am I talking about? It's actually gonna be a sign up screen or register screen, right? And this is gonna be our first thing to do to create the register screen. So I'm gonna import React from React, obviously. Then I'm gonna create a class called register screen, which extends, and this is actually going to extend a pure component from React, which has to have a render method, obviously. Then within that method, we're gonna return something. But first of all, going to export that default register screen class. So we know that it actually returns something. So let's add a view. And a view is obviously a React Native component that we have to return. There is also gonna be an input. Oh, wait. I think it's actually a text input, isn't it? Text input. So the text input is gonna be put in here. Okay. So there are a few ways of doing this. Basically, we can extend a pure component from React. We can extend a normal component from React. We could create a stateless function as well, which doesn't have any kind of life cycles from React, which would mean that it would actually perform a little bit better. But because we are going to connect it to the store, then we will have to it will have to be a bit more complicated. And let me quickly check what Expo version we are on, because I think the new Expo version has been released. So there you go, we are on 31. So I think we can just add a new here on Expo, new Expo version, which is number 32. That Expo uses the latest React and latest React Native, so we will be able to use hooks. And I'm probably gonna go to make that register screen stateless, or a stateless function, so we can add hooks to it, so you guys can see how to deal with hooks. As that might be new to some people. If that ever loads or downloads Expo. So let me quickly see if we have to do any extra steps to increase the version other than just upgrading its version to the latest. Might take a while, as Expo is actually a bit of a package or a bit of a framework. So let's see the installation page from Expo and see if they actually mention anything about any extra steps. So I don't think there is anything anything specific we have to do to upgrade our Expo version. So let's see, we are on version 32. Brilliant. Now let's see if there is anything in particular we have to do, because obviously Expo is based on React and React Native, and to upgrade Expo we have to make sure that we do specific steps. Okay, I think we can do it slightly differently. So instead of adding Expo as I just did, we could get rid of these 3 packages and re-add them like so, and then just delete node modules to make sure when we do a fresh install, that will install all the node modules from scratch, making sure we've got the latest packages installed, which are needed for the latest Expo version, basically. I think the latest is actually 32. Okay, that's fine. If they want us to use 32.0.0, it's absolutely fine. So it might be, so probably the stream is gonna be lagging a little bit because yeah, I'm removing node modules and I'm installing some of the dependencies. So it's probably gonna be a bit laggy for a second or two, but everything will come back to normal in a minute as soon as everything is installed. There is a question from Abby asking how many lessons have I done on React prior to this. What a question. I mean, I've been using React for commercially, I think, for 5 years now, and I use it on daily basis every day. For the last year, I've been using React Native on daily basis at my day job for 8 hours or 10 hours a day. So it's probably more than just the lessons. I mean, I was doing some of the courses when I first came across React. I did a few courses online and I watched a few videos, but then I started using it as soon as possible, and I do recommend to do the same for you guys. So whenever there is a new technology, you should be using it straight away and kind of practicing how to use that technology straight away. So, you know, it's like riding a bicycle and reading a book. You can read, I don't know, thousands of books how to ride a bike, but you will never kind of learn it. You will never get it how to ride a bike without actually practicing it, without trying to ride that bike, right? So the same thing happens with development or to development. I think whenever there is something new, whenever there is a tool that you want to use and you don't really know how to use it, I think the technical or you know, the technical part is the first thing that you should be doing, obviously, because you have to learn about the tool first. But then you have to use it straight away. You have to start using it as soon as you learn it, as soon as kind of you read about it, because by using something, it will first of all make you feel like you are getting familiar with the tool, and then it will help you understand how it works, and it's gonna be easier for you to actually get your head around it. So I do recommend to start using the tool that you are learning straight away, instead of just reading about it forever or trying to watch all the videos. I think it's best to use it. It's best to practice things and see how it works, because it definitely helps to get your head around it way quicker. And obviously some people might not feel as comfortable using a new tool or a new technology without actually reading about it first, or without having enough information. And this is definitely something. It's a normal reaction, right? You don't know the tool, you don't know how to use it, how could you use it? But at the same time, if you start using it, if you read some basics first, some fundamentals, and then after reading the fundamentals you start using it, it will be easier for you to see the use cases as you use the tool or the framework or the library, whatever it is. So by using the tool or by using the framework, you kind of get used to it. And yeah, I mean, you know, it's React. It's not like a complete new language. It's not like a complete new. It's not a rocket science either. So the real deal is to learn JavaScript, because React is only like a framework put together, like a library put together to extend that JavaScript, to make JavaScript a bit more powerful, and to make sure that it kind of helps you build the apps quicker or more efficiently, and it actually puts some sort of patterns around JavaScript to help you build the apps in a way that they are maintainable and quicker to build. So the first thing to do is to learn JavaScript. It's not really the fact that React is really difficult to learn, because if you know JavaScript, and if you have the imagination, and if you know what you want to build, you kind of plan it out, and then you only use React or React Native as a tool to achieve whatever you want to build, right? And this is the main thing to understand. So the question shouldn't be how many lessons have I done to learn React. The question should be if you understand JavaScript, or if you know JavaScript, or if you know enough of JavaScript to use it together with React, because this is where it actually lies. It's all about JavaScript. So you should be learning. If you don't know JavaScript, you should be learning fundamentals of JavaScript first, because if you are going to React without learning any JavaScript, then it's like kind of, I don't know, it's like skipping swimming and going for those really advanced jumps from the cliff with many front flips or back flips down the way, right? So you don't want to be jumping off the cliff if you can't swim. And this is the same with JavaScript and React. You don't want to be using React if you don't know any JavaScript, because then how can you use classes? How can you use anything? I mean, any kind of functional programming or whatever. How can you use certain methods or properties from JavaScript if you don't know it? If you only want to go for React. React is based on JS, and to understand React, or to make it easier for you to use React, you have to know JS, and that's as simple as that. So if you and some people do ask if you should be learning ECMOScript 2015 or 2015 or 2014, you know, vanilla JavaScript, or if you should be going for ES6, ES7, and so on and so forth. The answer is, it's good to understand sorry, kind of got distracted here. So yeah, so it's better to understand vanilla JavaScript first, only because if you understand vanilla JavaScript, for people who don't know what vanilla JavaScript and ECMOScript is, basically defined JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript is a defined language, and ECMOScript is what comes as a proposal, and then every year and every now and then they put new proposals through ECMOScript. ECMOScript is the organization for JavaScript feature proposals. So in ECMOScript, they put all of those proposals together, and ECMOScript organization defines if those proposals are good enough or not to be included in the vanilla JavaScript. So because it's a process and it takes ages, obviously they have to define everything perfectly, and whatever gets included in the JavaScript in the end has to be properly debugged and tested and everything, right? So they put all of those proposals together in ECMOScript, and then eventually it reaches the vanilla JavaScript, what we called. So some people want to know if they should be learning ECMOScript or JavaScript. ECMOScript, in one hand, is not really fully defined, but you know, like the closest version, so now ECMOScript 6 is most likely going to be included in vanilla JavaScript. So some people ask if they should be learning ECMOScript or vanilla JavaScript, and I always say that whenever you want to learn ECMOScript, it's gonna be easier for you to learn, well, maybe not easier, but easier to understand ECMOScript if you learned vanilla JavaScript first, right? It's like, again, you have to make those baby steps to be able to run, and then once you know those baby steps, you know exactly how to run, you know exactly how to move forward. And it's the same with programming. If you learn all the fundamentals on vanilla JavaScript, it's going to be easier for you to understand why ECMOScript has done certain improvements here and there, right? So because it's a language, it's a programming language, you have to learn the alphabet before you can start speaking. You have to learn the words before you can start using them. And it's the same with programming. You learn the fundamentals, you learn the basics, and then from there you improve it, you take it to another level, and then you learn ECMOScript, and from ECMOScript you can understand why there are classes, and then you can understand why React is using classes, and then from there you can understand why React is using life cycles, and why they have the virtual DOM, and so on and so forth. So it's a process, it's a step-by-step kind of journey before you can fully understand how to use React or React Native, whatever it is. Anyway, let's get back to our coding, because we are talking about some bollocks and it's not really what we want to be doing. So now we have the latest React, which has the hooks, and we have latest React Native. So we're gonna be able to use the hooks and everything. So this is actually gonna be a bit more enjoyable, and you will see why. For those who have been using latest feature from React, the hooks, this is definitely going to be very enjoyable. Okay, brillianto. Cool, cool, cool. Right, so we have our register screen. Very simple, nothing complicated here yet. Right. Let me just quickly read the comment. So one took 1 year course package in which I start with JavaScript, then learn React, then React Native. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the best way to go because this is the natural way to understand everything. You learn JavaScript, all the fundamentals, perfectly fine. Then you go from there to learn React. And then from React, you can... React Native is basically... it's again, like almost like an extension from React to make it possible to build native applications, right? And the only difference is that React Native uses the bridge and it's run on a different thread, so it can be linked together with the native thread, and that bridge, which React Native introduces, links the JavaScript thread and native thread, right? And this is the only difference in React Native, and obviously the components which are using that bridge. But anyway, so now we are going. What we have to do, we have to find our our tabs, and we want to import our register screen. Obviously, I'm doing this as an example. Then eventually, I'm gonna make all of this routes accessible only after we either signed up or signed in. I just want to preview that screen, make sure everything works as expected. So this is all setting stack, link stack. This is home. So it's gonna be, I'm gonna put it all the way at the top because obviously that is gonna be our first screen. So let me do it here as well. I'm gonna make it first there. So I'm gonna call it Authentication Stack. Okay, and then PWA. I'm not sure what PWA is. Could you explain that shorthand, please? Hold on, I think I'm screens. That was a typo. Sorry about that, guys. That's what it's like when you kind of work all day and then you do the live streaming in the evening as well. So many things to do. Hold on, let me rerun it. I think I kind of killed the process by crashing it. So let me just put a quick comment here explaining what we are going to be doing. So what we want to have is two stacks, authenticated stack, where, you know, user is already signed in. And we want to have unauthenticated stack where the user is not signed in. And here we will have all the routes that are related to an authenticated stack, right? So we want to have two kind of stacks. One, so it's not going to be authentication, it's going to be authenticated stack, and it's going to be called register screen. Then there is going to be login screen, perhaps, which is going to be imported in a minute. Login screen from. Then this is probably a good time to add unauthenticated directory, and then we can call it login screen, right? So this is what I'm gonna add here as well, and then let me put this one here because it's not related to screens at all. I quite like to have the order. How to unsubscribe from all async actions, not only fetch Axios when component will unmount. So that's a good question. Thanks for that, Ivan. So it really depends what kind of what do you use. Oh, you use Axios, so you can use probably Axios middleware or some sort of interceptors to unsubscribe, or you can even create another kind of action which unsubscribes from them all. So there are a couple authenticated. So what we want to have is authenticated and unauthenticated routes. So authenticated and unauthenticated. So unauthenticated is going to be register for sure. Authenticated is going to be home, links, and settings. Okay. So now, okay, we still need to add, login screen. Oh, sugar. Login screen. Okay. So what we want to have here is okay, so we want to have the username, the password here, probably. I'm gonna call it login screen, and I'm gonna have the same thing for the register as well. So we will have username and password. So now we'll have login screen, register screen, and all authenticated routes. And then the app navigator has its main tab navigator. So there is this main tab navigator, but we also want to have our, how do we want to call it, onboarding navigator. It's more of a stack, isn't it? It's not really navigator. but that's fine. So just to separate it all out, just to make sure that we don't mix those things together. Right, we want to have them separately. Okay. Perfect. We don't want to have, we don't need this kind of options here. And then we wanna export it, right? So, okay, this is fine. So then we want to import it. Oh, you see, it even says, it even has that kind of information here. How to add another route here for authentication. So let's see what they say. This is quite interesting. I didn't even see it before. So let's see what React Native, what React Navigation recommends for that. Okay, here we go. So there is the app stack, which is our main stack. There is the auth stack as well. And this is how they do it. They do create app container, create switch navigator, which we have here, create switch navigator. And then they do have the auth loading screen, the app and auth stack. And this is the initial route name, okay? Now, we don't have the loading screen yet, so we're gonna do, they call it stack as well, you see. That's what I was going to call it, main stack. So app stack from onboarding navigator, and they're calling it auth. So that's how I'm gonna call it as well. Main stack, perfect. Cool, we don't need React here. Don't think. So this is the loading screen. And then what we want is that other object which takes the initial route name, and we want it to be auth. Right? Is that what they recommended? Yeah. So one weird thing is that they call it with capital letters. So which is a bit weird. I do like to name the keys within the objects with the lowercase. It's just a personal preference. I mean, you know, it's just a naming convention. Oh, progressive web app. Interesting. It's the second time I see this error. Not sure what it's all about. Might be the fact that the process is, or the port is already in use. Yeah, that's interesting. So the PWA, which stands for Progressive Web App, as you guys say, that's, yeah, I see what you were saying. So you basically can save a website to your mobile desktop kind of thing, and then it creates an icon on your mobile desktop, if you like to call it. Let me. Hold on. Let me open the simulator again. So, yeah, if you have a responsive website and you save that website to your mobile, this is what Progressive Web App has been called, I believe. And then you can have a shortcut to that website, and it's kind of, it looks like an app, but it's a responsive website. So that's one way of doing things. There is another way. So another kind of app is the hybrid app, where you use, for example, you use some sort of frameworks like Ionic or Flutter or whatever, or Cordova, and that compiles. So you use JavaScript, but it compiles somehow, or it gets passed somehow to the native code, and then you can see it on your mobiles. Hold on, guys. We do have, because I changed the paths, so it is now a bit higher up, isn't it? That's why it's good to use absolute paths, if you guys are familiar with absolute paths. So the absolute paths allow you to import things, whatever, I don't know, utilities, from whatever your root is, then something like that. It's a bit nicer, so you don't have to kind of count how many levels you have to go up and stuff, because it's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? Okay. Don't need that. Right. What's the deal now? Still cannot resolve this path, which is a bit weird, because this is basically what it is. So unauthenticated, we go back 1, 2. Oh no, it is 2 levels up, isn't it? So we go 1, 2. No, it's 3. Sorry, 3, because it has to go. It has to go 1, 2, 3 to source, and then back to library. This is well annoying. That's so strange. It looks like something is blocking it from running, and for some reason, you see. So let me open up the simulator manually. Might be some sort of caching, I don't know. Do you guys have any ideas? So when you run in that kind of issues, it's always best to still unable to resolve utilities. That's weird. Do we even need it anywhere? Is it 2 levels up, you reckon? Well, there is... So it has to go up to authenticated, to screens, that's already 2 levels, and then to library, which is 3 levels up. Oh no, sorry, to source. So it's authenticated, screens, and source. But hold on. I think I know what the problem is. Let me see the navigation. Okay. No, that's fine. That is fine. I don't think it is 2 levels. It used to be 2 levels, now it's 3. Because we added a folder. We moved them to authenticated. But let's see, maybe you guys are right. I'm just going to pour myself a glass of water. I might need a newer version of Babel, or because it's just so slow when it comes to resolving those paths. So weird. Well, to me, when you do it 2 levels up, that goes to screens and searches for lib folder in there. Nope, you were right. Does work. Okay, cool. So now we are back to our register screen. Okay, so what we want to add is
therefore all you'll have to talk about is your own conversation.
The text input, which we already have in there.
When I use the word think, talking to yourself. Subvocal conversation. The constant.
So this is the value. We want to add some sort of placeholder as well, probably. So hold on, let me see what kind of properties we can use. I'm not sure if it actually has the placeholder. Yeah, it does. So the placeholder is going to be password, and then the value going to be taken from the state and is going to be the password. Now, here, the placeholder is going to be username, and the value is going to be username, right? Now, let's just return it like this. What we are going to have is we're going to have the username and set username, and this is going to be our hook, which is a new thing that comes from React Native. And then the second set of it is going to be password and set password. Use state, right? What React version are we on? 16.5. React. It's definitely the right version, isn't it? 16.8. That's interesting. But when did the hooks come? I think it was in 16.4, maybe. So we definitely should have the hooks. It's the use state hook. That's the one, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So it's definitely correct. Interesting. 16.7, is it? Okay, so let me quickly update it to 16.8.6. 16.8.6. And where is the React Native? Okay, SDK, all right, that's fine. Let's install that so we can use the hooks. Surprisingly, they haven't upgraded it in the Expo documentation. I think they should. Thanks for letting me know in the comments, even. Do appreciate it. Cool. But Expo is just not reloading the app very nicely, is it? I'm not sure why that is. Yeah. So I'm sure let's see the change log. Let's see what version they're on, because I'm pretty sure they upgraded it to 32 point something. What happened to the music? No, I think they upgraded it, so the latest one should be using 59, I believe. I'm just going to check it now. How can you share my live feeds in your React.js group? There should be a button right next to the post, and that's how you should be able to just share it. So you select who you want to share it as, and then from there you select share in a group and you choose a group name. So you have to pick your name and then you choose the group name. I swear to God, they upgraded Expo to 32, which uses React, latest React and latest React Native. But surprisingly, they don't really mention it anywhere. So I think in their latest conference they mentioned, oh right, so you were right, it is 0.57. Oh, this is very disappointing then. I thought they were using 59. So they must have not really included the latest version. Yeah, I thought they were using 59. That's really bad, isn't it? So I was 100% sure that they were using React Native 59, and they in the latest version, maybe don't they have like a release candidate? Because this is just not what we want. We definitely want to be using the hooks. So you see there is even React Native 0.6, which is the release candidate, or 0.60. So they're definitely behind. And let's see their blog post. Maybe up. So library updates. Yeah, React Native reanimated and gesture handler. Yeah. I know all of that. But I'm just so disappointed they didn't include the latest React or React Native version. Yeah, it looks like if you want to use hooks, you have to forget about Expo. I was pretty sure they were going to include the hooks in their latest SDK. There you go. So it says Expo SDK 32 is based once again on React Native 57. Huh. Yeah. So you see, it uses React Navigation 3, which is great. But hold on, is this still single SDK themes? 64-bit APKs, exactly. This is what we want. So Expo for professionals. That's what we want. Now, is this a different SDK? I don't think so. Okay, let me go to GitHub. Hi Varga, welcome back. Expo. This is what we want to see, right? Expo client. This is so confusing, guys. So, hold on a sec. Where is this stuff? So, Expo SDK version 32 is now available. But there is also Expo for professionals. And I'm wondering if this is different. Because this has... The main Expo repo is now the source of truth of the Expo client, and where both the Expo team and community contributors develop, making the open GitHub repo the source of truth, is a systematically healthier model for Expo compared to syncing from a private repo as part of this evolution. We made the open Expo repo and monorepo. It now contains the Android and iOS runtypes, many universal modules, the JS SDK test suits, the Expo Babel preset, and more. So the implementation of one idea can be in one coherent commit and PR, even if it's span across multiple platforms and programming languages. That still doesn't tell me much, does it? So let's take a look at their package.json, see what version this is. Okay, so it's taken from Expo. There we go. So you see, the SDK version is 33. And that means I think this one is using React Native 59 and hooks from React. Looks like it's slightly different though. So maybe we'll need to generate a new project from this repo and then migrate things over. Because it looks like it looks, hold on. Interesting. To build the Expo client app, follow the instructions in the setup section below. Use the Expo CLI command line. Well, Expo CLI, it stands for command line interface. But anyway, Expo CLI. Interesting. So let me see. Let's see what version is on this. I'm gonna initialize a new project and see if that's any different, because it looks like this is Expo 32 and that repo, this stuff, this is on Expo 33, isn't it? You see, SDK version 33. It's a mono repo as well, but I wanna use the entire thing. I wanna use the entire framework. I don't want to be installing different packages randomly. So Expo CLI. What is the command again? Expo. Sorry, it's Expo init. No, you definitely... Sorry, what did it say? Oh, right, I see. No, you definitely don't want to be having two different versions of either React or Expo in the same code base. That's the last thing you want to have. Whenever you are building something, stick to one version. Don't create different branches. Don't do multiple versions across the code base. That's the worst idea you could do. It's a nightmare. I mean, like, whatever you want to have should be simple, right? You want to be, well, you will be maintaining it, so you don't want to have multiple versions to maintain. Also, how would you merge those branches together with different versions? Nothing would work. So it's definitely not what you want to be doing. So the SDK, sorry, the CLI is not using the latest one either. So we have to follow this stuff. We have to install Nix. We have to install Darren. So let's try. Let's see if that helps. Because we definitely want to be using the latest version of Expo, which has the hooks, which has the latest React version, React Native. I mean, We could be doing things on that's your nightmare too. When you try to learn something, it's deprecated. Yeah, that's what it is. Everything in front-end development nowadays in JavaScript is oops. What happened there? I thought it installed. What was the problem? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it kind of moves on really rapidly. Oh, this is brilliant, is it? Not sure why this wouldn't work. Makes me feel like they're still working on it and it's not even released to be used. I think it's kind of like a so unclear. So whatever they are doing, they're trying to move away from that previous solution, and they're going to use this mono repo from now on, but it looks like it's just not kind of defined fully yet. It's not, so there is no information about this officially. So why we use Expo? That's a good question. Well, there are many kind of methods or like tools within Expo in their SDK, which are nice to use. So you can see this is all that stuff on the left hand side. You see how many different API things they have, like out of the box. There are so many. The camera, constants, brightness, calendar, contacts, Facebook ads, file system, all of this kind of APIs, image picker, linking, local authentication, localization, location, Loti. Not sure if you guys have seen Loti. Loti is basically like it's a tool where you can use your animations from, for example, let's use the preview. You can use animations made in like After Effects, like really rich animations, and you can import them directly to your JavaScript by doing this. So from your After Effects, you just export them as JSON files, and then in your React Native, you can just import it and use it like this. You just do play animation, and this is your animation, right? Really cool. You can reset it, you can make things interactive. Really cool stuff. But then, yeah, permissions. Just look how many things they kind of made within this framework. You see? So this is meant to be helpful, but I'm wondering what they did with the latest version. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Expo. Well, yeah, but that's the whole point of continuous integration. You know, things get improved, and you just have to upgrade the version from time to time. So once you get it right, then you wait until the new version is released, and you read about the release. You just read the release notes, you upgrade the version in your project, and you keep up with it. So every now and then, every couple of weeks, every few weeks, every few months, whenever, you upgrade the versions. The good tool to keep up with dependencies is a black duck. Black duck helps you to see which packages are running out of date, and you can upgrade them before they actually expire. Right. Okay. I think what they did say is to run yarn. Oh, sorry, not in here. In the tools public. Still find it really weird what they did. So I'm not entirely sure why they kind of moved everything here. I guess it's because it's easier to maintain it and let like people, public people to contribute to this project. React Native Web. So there is a new version of React Native for Web released, and I think they made a really good job. They made a really good job kind of making sure that a lot of the code and a lot of the features that you use in React Native can be shared across to the web as well. So it's definitely the future, because it's like taking the responsive design or responsive development to another level, right? Because now you will be able to have one code base between Android, iOS, and web, and it's certainly a good idea. It all depends on the design, so it really depends how your application is structured and whatever that application is, because obviously it has to be thought through, and if you're a developer you have to work really closely with the design team to make sure that they understand what's possible, and they have to design things the way that they can be shared between mobile and web. Right, so this is something to keep in mind when designing the app or when planning it all out. So because it's a React Native web, it doesn't mean that you can do everything if the design is completely irrelevant, or if the design shows completely different things on web and mobile, then React Native web is not going to help you, because obviously it has to be the way the components are designed and the way the app is designed. It has to be compatible in a way for React Native and web applications, right? Now, guys, do you know what? I think I'm gonna go back to where I was, because it's just taking so much time. So I think I'm gonna keep it as Expo 32. I would have to read up on it first and kind of do a research, which would probably take a bit of a time, and I don't want to be make it boring for you. It's already kind of taking too long. So instead we're going to make it a class as it was. We're going to make it a pure component. Extends pure component, and then this is going to be our state. It's going to be a user name, password, and then this is going to be our render function. Just going to return something, and then we can deconstruct or destructure the password and username from our state. Okay, just nice and simple. It's a shame, because I wanted to show you guys how to use hooks, but yeah, maybe next time when I actually read up on it a bit. There is a bit of a documentation, and you know, I would probably just need to follow them to understand how to use it properly. In the meantime, oh, this guy again. It's just not going very well today, is it? But that's what it is sometimes as well. In the meantime, we can oh my lord, this is just driving me nuts now. So in the meantime, we will need onSubmit method, which is gonna be used on the button. On press this on submit. Do you know what? We actually don't need to do it like this. We can just do it like that. And it also takes title. So the title is going to say register, perhaps. So this can only be, it takes the event argument. So we'll need our password and username from the state, and we'll need some method here. We'll need some action. We'll need to dispatch some action from the store, like, you know, whatever that. Actually, I think, yeah, this one. Excuse me. So we can either have it here or we can add it to the store. Probably gonna add it to the store in a minute. Or let me see where we have this. Firebase. Okay. All right. From Firebase. Yeah. So the username. All right. So it's the email. It's not username. It's email and password. Fair enough. Email and password. Okay. Cool. So it's actually gonna be email. All right. So this event is passed from the button, if someone was wondering. So on press, the first argument from on press is the event, the click event. The press, well, you don't really click on a mobile, do you? So it's the press event which holds some data as well. Now I want to see whilst it's compiling. I wanted to see the text input. I was going to on change text. Yes, this is exactly what we wanted to figure out. You see, that's interesting. So on change. It's the value, and this is going to change the email into the value, like so, and this is going to change the password to the value as well. We can see in a minute if we can refactor it slightly. Okay. Not really, unless you want to be doing some sort of manipulation to that text input. But by default, there is no need to define the reference. So what is the reference? The reference is some sort of like ID almost. It's like it's kind of like a point where you can reference it, where you can reference to. So for example, if you added reference, you know, whatever that is, if you use that reference, hold on, let me do it properly so you can see what I mean. So email ref, for example, right? So you have that React create ref stuff, and then you can pass it down here as this email ref, obviously. So now this is this email ref is something what you can use at certain points in your app. So for example, after you submit the form, you might do something to the text input current and then whatever, right? If you wanted to, but by default we don't want to use that. We don't need it, because on change text we're going to update the store, we're going to update the email to whatever value we provide, and then on change on the password input we're going to update the password field in our store, in our local store here, our local state, and then on submit we will have the access to these two fields from the state, and we will be able to pass it to Firebase and be able to authenticate, right? And this is the idea. But this is not what I was going to do. I can see that the app is loading. Register screen. Yeah, no, that's definitely fine. So the app is loading the main stack, not the app stack. Sorry, the old stack. Should be called old stack instead, like so. And instead of onboarding navigator, let's call it old stack and main stack. Just so main stack, just so it's a bit nicer to understand. Actually wondering if this is the right thing running. Main stack, old stack, yeah. That's really yarn start. Am I on the right? Projects. Yeah, here we go. So this looks for the icon. Source assets. Okay. Hold on a sec. Something has gone terribly wrong here. So this is whatever this is running, it's like this is the boilerplate React Native app. This is not what our app looks like. So it looks like it's running a completely different. Hold on, I think we are in the wrong folder. 1 second, guys. Exactly. I was going to say this doesn't look right at all. So now let's remove the node modules here. Sorry about that. I was just a bit confused for a second. This .set state is it asynchronous method? I don't think it is. I mean, it has some sort of cycle that it's running. Yeah. Yeah, now I know. Now I kind of figured it out. But it's okay. We're going to get it back, which is fine. And we have what we could do, we could actually create the error handler here as well, just so it's a bit cleaner. So we could do something like this, and then make it like that. So, what do you guys do? Like, can you put your projects in the comments? Is there something you wanna show to everybody? Is there anything you're proud of and wanna share it with us? That would be great to see what you are up to, guys. Kind of curious to see the projects that you are building. If you wanna put your projects down below in the comments, that would be great, so we can all view it and yeah, get the inspiration from, hopefully. I'm also running it for a bit longer than normally. Normally we run it for what, 1 hour, but because we changed the dates kind of lastminute.com, I was thinking that it probably would be fair on you to run it for a bit longer. Main stack, isn't it? Also, if you want to be up to date with the latest videos and you want to kind of stay connected with us, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the... How can I know your regular current calendar when you present? Can I subscribe to email notifications or Facebook calendar? Or I want to continue to share your content with our React.js group. So how you could keep up? Well, I run live coding series every Thursday. So every Thursday at 8 PM Greenwich Mean Time, I'm here. But if you want, you can follow us on YouTube. You can see all the links below this video, or kind of on the overlay of the video. You can see that it's Cellcode Digital. So it's www.youtube.com/c/Cellcode Digital. I do recommend to subscribe to that channel and click on the bell next to subscribe, because this is when you're going to be getting all the notifications and things. And here we are. This is our very first register screen. So let's see what happens if I if I sign up, then now let's put something quick. Nothing happened. Maybe because no, nothing at all. That's a bit disappointing. Oh yeah, of course. Hold on. On submit. Yeah. So first of all, we need to change that. Ah, right, I see. So it did work. It did work, but we didn't handle, you know, the messages or anything. So first of all, we probably want to make it a bit nicer. So we probably just want to add some styling to our text inputs. Just gonna make it a bit higher. Yeah, flatter is the best. Well then, keep using it. If it's that great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it's that great, you should be using it. I'm kinda alright with React Native. I don't think I would. Yeah. So it's youtube.com, yeah, /c/Selco Digital. There are some other videos that I was recording before, so you can't really miss it. And it's got the logos and styling as well. So it's easy to spot. And if you guys wanna watch this series from the beginning, I do recommend to follow us on Selco Digital YouTube channel, as everything is in there, and you can see it. Okay, let's just put some sort of container around this. So it looks a bit better. Okay, coolio. So there is that cool thing in React Native where you can define padding horizontal or padding vertical. Quite like it. And we're going to add the margin bottom equal to 20 as well, just so we have some nice spacing in the middle. Okay, and the border width, I think it's border width. Maybe it's not border width. I can't remember. I don't think it's just border. I think it has to be specified. I think it's, yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's gonna tell me. Border what? Border width. I was thinking that was border width. I'm not sure why it's still. Does it still have the border? Maybe it's just my eyes. Maybe I'm kind of getting crazy now. Anyway, font size. Let's put it up to 16. Not sure what font size is used right now. Okay, that is kind of looking a little bit better. We're kind of getting there. So yeah. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. I think what we have to do is to add static. What is that? Navigation options, isn't it? Navigation options, and I think it's the header. Am I correct? Can you correct me if I'm wrong? Thank you very much, guys, for all the subscriptions. I'm actually gonna add a bot soon, so we will see who's subscribing, and we will be doing some getaways as well. So definitely stay tuned. Is it header or is it title? I really can't remember. Let's see. Yeah, so if you want to be, aha. So this is how you provide your kind of custom header. But I think there was a way to provide, maybe it's a title. Do you guys remember? Because what I want to do is to provide a title only to the header. Oh yeah, there it is. So it is actually a title. Cool. So we don't need, if you want to specify your own header component, you just add a header property to the navigation options. But right now it's just register, which is okay for now. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying about the getaways. If you want to stay up to speed with our videos and our series and all that kind of stuff, just do subscribe to YouTube channel, Sale to Digital. But also we're gonna be doing some getaways from time to time, and I'm gonna be giving away some freebies, oh god, it's gonna be different things. So vouchers or some sort of like mags and, you know, and mouse pads and things like that. So if you wanna get some. Okay, nice. So now we have our form. This is okay, this is great. But what we want to have is the error as well. We want to handle the error somehow. Yeah, so React Native and Expo, they both have hot reloading. So you have to disable the live reload, and then you enable hot reloading. And then it has to kind of reload to create the hash for it. So now I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you how this is gonna work. So okay, let's just handle the error first. So we're going to add that error text, right? We're going to add that error text at the bottom, and we're going to set the state. So the error is going to display the message, okay? But then what we also want to have is that on each so what we can actually do as well, we can handle the input change, and this is going to be the text. Actually going to pass two different arguments. It's going to be a text and field name. So we can have this state. And we can set it like this. So we can also set the error to nothing, only to reset it. So then this is going to be value and email. Okay. And then this is going to be value and password. So we can have the same sort of message. Huh? What did it say? Hold on a sec. So text. Text strings must be rendered within a text component. Where is this coming from? 44. So it could be this. It's a bit weird. Well, first of all, the hot reloading didn't really work that well, and then secondly, it was probably because it was empty. I have to check if it's empty, but anyway. So now let's. Okay, cool. So now you can see that we have our error messages here. I'm actually gonna add some styling for it so that we see. So color is going to be red, and the font size going to be 16 as well. Nope, it doesn't look like it generates the hash correctly, so it looks like the hot reloading is not really working that well. Would have to look into it and why that happens. But let's see. Cool. So now we have the errors, right? And it says the email address is badly formatted. You can handle your errors differently. You can either show an alert box or however you want to handle it. The alert box will be probably nicer because it will give you that kind of you know, that kind of mobile experience in a way. So what we could do, we could use React Native Alert. There you go. So instead of doing this, right, instead of kind of having that, we could, and instead of setting it here, so let's just comment this out for now, we could have the alert, and alert comes from React Native. Okay. We would only have one button. And then the alert would be saying error, and the message would be the error message, right? So now there you go. You can see that the email address is badly formatted. Alert pop-up kind of appears, which is cool. Then let's try to oi oi oi. Sorry, it should say is set state. Typo again. Typo again. Could be something to do with my Webpack configurations, because I was playing around with different Expo versions and things. Maybe I just broke the configuration. That's why the hot reloading is not really working that well. There is actually another thing we want to do to our password field. What we want to have is, you might be probably guessing that already. So what we want to add secure text entry. This is the prop which we want to add on our password field, right? So then whenever we are gonna be providing, or the user is gonna be providing the password, nobody is gonna see it. You see? Pretty cool, isn't it? Now there is another error saying that this email address has been already used, which is correct, because I already used that email. So that's fine. Now let's go back to our Firebase. Surprisingly, so I'm just reading up on the authentication things and stuff. So wonder if we can set the success handler to see the response. Okay. Response. Just a typo again. So that way we wouldn't need the error. We wouldn't need the error property in our local state. So we could just get rid of things. Also one error message, just for developers to kind of log it.
Therefore, all you'll have to talk about is your own conversation. The same is true for people who think all the time. That means, when I use the word think, talking to yourself. Subvocal conversation.
Okay, lovely jubbly. So, check this out. You see? This is the entire object.
Now, if you do that all the time, that you've nothing to think about except thinking.
Which we are going to actually handle in our store, right? So now let's go back to our store. We have our auth, we have our login, logout, update user. This is the action. So what we want to have is register user. It's actually going to be email and password as well.
The force of liberation will blow the world to pieces.
Let me actually quickly check something. So register. Payload, Firebase, auth. So what we want to have, we would basically want to copy this guy over. So Firebase, auth, email, password, success handler. That's not really necessary. So what we're gonna have is this to begin with. Register. And right. Actually, it will be necessary. So let's do return. And then we can have our success and error handler in there. It could be added to a middleware, but it's fine. So then response, and this is our entire object, right? So we will be able to hold on a sec. So we can import alert from React Native. Okay, like so. Okay, let's save it. So then we will do this is going to be async await register, and then email password, right? So the response can be awaited, and then we can do something with the response, right? So if response equals to whatever is successful or whatever that is going to be, I'll have to take a look at the object. But if it's new user provided password credentials, no blah blah. Let me see if there is some sort of like success. Probably not. Credential additional. Anyway, if response dot sts token manager access token, we want to check if that is not null, then we're going to be navigating somewhere, probably to the authenticated routes. But let's do it in a minute. So first of all, we will need to connect our map state to props and map dispatch to props. Const map state to props, and this is state. Okay, and then const map dispatch to props. So let me just quickly get it from here, just so it's quicker. And then we're just going to have register. Okay. Now just need these two guys. Don't need Firebase in there anymore. Don't need text. Don't need alert. But what we need is register from these props. So we'll need to add it to static prop types. Register prop types function is required. So we'll need to import the prop types from the prop types. Okay. Handle input change. We don't need this anymore. So we just added the validation. Okay, auth actions. We need the actions as well, of course. Perfect. What we could do, we could actually pass it as null, because we don't really need to use that anywhere. Or differently, we could do user state dot user. Okay, so then we could actually use the user here, you know, for whatever reason. And now okay, so let's go back to our actions. Let's go back to our reducers. So user is going to be an empty object. Okay, and going to do case types register, and this is going to update the user state once the user registers. Okay, so we've got our types register, and the payloads is this. So sorry, I just made a bit of a mistake here. What I'm actually gonna do, I'm actually gonna return the error. So instead of handling this here, I'm gonna handle it in there. So then, you know, if response, whatever that response, if that's an error, then do something, and we can handle it. But instead of doing all of that crazy stuff in there, we're just going to handle that. Just like so. So we just need the alert back. And I will probably need the console log response, just so I know what it is. So then I'm gonna be returning it, which means the code won't be executed any further if there is an error. Okay. Let's see what happens. So let's open our state. And because now we're going to be looking at the state quite a lot, I'm gonna make a change to our layout. So now the state is gonna be quite important thing. So okay, cool. So we've got our app. You can see that auth user is still empty. So let's do silent plus do it multics.io. Okay. Now there are some errors. Let's see what happened. Right. So first of all, I think. Oi oi oi. Type. Okay. So. We'll probably have to add some sort of promise rejection error action might not have an undefined type property. Have you misspelled a constant? Types register. Types register. Is this what I did? No, it is register for sure. Types register. Okay, okay. So everything looks all right. That's also one way of doing this, but let me go to the reducer, console log the payload, and return state and payload, just to make sure I'm gonna change it back. So I'm gonna disable hot reloading and enable live reloading. Yeah, cool. There is one more thing I'm gonna make. Oh, I know what I'm doing. Guys, you don't really say anything. Oh dear. Anyway, so what I have to do, I have to try and catch the this stuff here, you see. So there are gonna be a couple of ways of doing this. First of all, there is gonna be that kind of stuff, and also we want to error message. So we want to handle it like this and that. Okay, looks like this. Methods are wondering why it kind of kills. It just kills the process completely, which is a bit weird. So whenever there is an error, whenever the bundle crashes, it kills the process. So how is it going, guys? I hope you are enjoying the video, enjoying the live coding series tonight. If you do, don't forget to like the video on YouTube. That's a massive support for me. Because you see, I have to fix this. This is just annoying. Whenever there is an error, it kind of kills the simulator altogether. I hope you enjoy the video, and you leave a comment or a like on YouTube, because that keeps me running, keeps me going, and it's definitely definitely a nice thing for me. It's a cool motivation, and also Facebook. Sorry, not Facebook. YouTube. Let's see. Nope. Something is still not quite right. So let's debug it. Let's see what the problem is. Okay, so it doesn't even get that far. So it means that something is wrong at the action level. So let's follow what we did there. So we're gonna return the response, and then let's try and catch in here instead. Okay. So then we do a constant response equals await. Cool. And we're going to return the type and payload. Sorry, it has to be an object. Type and payload, yes. I'm wondering, it should be fine like this. Otherwise, we're going to return the error like this. Don't need to do that. And right, this is how we do reject it. Okay, cool. So we're gonna need to have the type, and it's just type registered rejected. Cool. So register, this is gonna be like this. Then obviously if it's case types, actually I'm gonna do types register rejected return state. So we can add it to the default case. So it's gonna return the multics.io. Ooh, that's weird. Hold on a minute. That's really weird, because we already did the async functions before, I'm pretty sure. So what is it talking about? Swear to God, we did use async actions before. Action must be plain objects. Use caster middleware for async actions. Huh. That's a bit annoying. Surely we did use that somewhere. Yeah, we did use that. But anyway, so let's... So, Redux, async actions, middleware. So what we can do, we can just add a middleware to async actions. And there are some articles and obviously things online that you can find to read up on and see how you can do how you can do them, how you can add asynchronous actions to your Redux. Let's see what's available. Redux Thunk. Yeah, there is Axios. Okay, I thought we had Thunk in place. It's a bit weird. Let's see our store and see what we have in the store. Compose with DevTools. No, so it's not. Okay, cool. So we're gonna add a Redux Thunk. Just so we can apply the middleware. So apply middleware from Redux. And then we can just apply it there. But we will have to import Thunk as well. Still installing, still adding, so we have to wait a little bit. But yeah, I think we had this problem with async actions before. So this is how we can solve it. Don't think we need the dev tools anymore. Oi. So let's start it again. And gonna reload the project. So yeah, I mean, you guys wanted to see a bit of Redux, so this is what it is. What we are going to do, we're going to await the Firebase authentication when creating a user by providing email and password, and then based on the response, we're going to return the response, right? And if it's an error, we're going to create a new, or to return a new type for rejected. What's going on here? Takes a bit of a time. I think I will. Oi, oi, oi. Just opened the wrong thing. So nobody shared any kind of projects yet. It's a bit disappointing. I think you guys would love to share your projects, your things, the things that you are building, the things that you are doing. But clearly nobody accepted the challenge. So shame on you guys. Shame on you. Right, cool. Let's try this one again. So. Ooh. Still doesn't like it. Why is that? Does that mean we have to right, let me see something. So dispatch. Surprising, because we are not even returning. We are not even returning. Okay, but it is an empty object. Wondering. Because we are not even returning. Right. Okay, that's good. That's good, that's good. So, response. Let's see again. So now, I think now it's working. Just need to handle the error properly. But we removed that one. Right, I see. Okay, we will have to compose the middleware and the dev tools to be able to use them. I'm gonna do it in a sec, but first I want to handle that error. Okay, so let's see the object. So payload message. So reducers. Payload code and message. Cool. That's all right. So I'm gonna add it there. Now. So if response message so Simon +2 at multics.io. Nope. Object payload, hold on, I think in the reducers. That's a bit weird. Types registered. For some reason it doesn't see the types either. Full register. Types register. Yeah, that's fine. Although undefined. For some reason types is not defined. Oops. So we could do it slightly differently. We could do it like this, just to keep it separate. I was wondering if we should keep it together, but I think it's actually better state error payload like so, and then user payload. Okay. I still don't understand why types register is not defined. This is a bit weird. This is slightly strange. So, case types register. Rejected. Types register. This is undefined. This is a bit worrying. Multics.io. Yeah, no, this is absolutely wrong. So. Don't know. I don't really understand why. Types register. Let me just copy it over to the reducer. Maybe there is a typo or something. Wasn't really sure. No, it doesn't look like there is. If you can spot If you can spot the problem, that would be great. Let's see if you're actually watching. Undefined rejected. Undefined rejected. I think it's because well, I definitely don't know why the type is wrong, but types register rejected. Not entirely sure at all. Code and message. Okay. Could be because of that middleware. Okay, cool. So let's use a different one. This. Okay. That's a bit better. So let's see what the response looks like here. It's very slow, isn't it? Oh, because there is a typo. So many typos, guys. So now let's use 4. Okay. The type is again undefined. This is so weird. This is so weird. So the action type is actually undefined. Export default register. There we go. Don't say anything. And I'm just importing the types from the wrong place. My God. All that kinda. So let's try to log in again with the username that I already used. Okay, that's fine. Now let's log in with another one. 6, for instance. Cool. There you go. So now the type is correct. Kinda not sure why. It returns. Oh, right. I see. Yes. Now it makes sense. So do you know why it happens like this? I don't know. So basically, we're calling this register method right here. We await it, right? So the response is, it's not this. The response is what we return here, right? So it's the entire thing. And Yeah, so that's if you wanted to use it, if you wanted to use it like that. Now, in the reducers, that's what gets called, which is fine. So the response is response.payload. We're going to refactor it to improve it. This is not the greatest way of doing this. So we're going to refactor it slightly. So response payload, and then actually hold on, not payload. What was it? STS credentials operation type register user, and then provider data, metadata. So within user, API key, no. App name, no. Auth, domain. Provided data. STS. Provided data SA. Refresh token. So what would be great to have is some sort of I don't know, just like a flag saying, yeah, it's been successful, you can now go on. But anyway, so instead we can do response payload user for now, because obviously then you can differentiate those two. Okay. So on React Native, what is next to do, and we are gonna be wrapping up in a second, because it's kind of getting late. So what we want to have this props navigation navigate. Okay, that's simple. So in our navigation, navigate is what we're going to use, and we're going to navigate to main, right? Navigation, prop types, shape, navigate, prop types, function. Cool. So now if we do okay, this has been used, that's fine. Let's do 7. Here we go. Lovely jubbly. So you can see that we are authenticated, you know, we signed up and we kind of navigated from the register screen to here, but this is definitely not enough. So what we want to have is authenticated routes, and this is what we're gonna be doing next, probably next week. So within our navigation, within our main stack, we want to make sure that all of these are authenticated, and the user will be only authenticated if certain criteria is met. Right. So we will be able to navigate from either the sign up or sign in screens to the main stack if certain criteria are met. For example, if the token is existing, right? So if the user signs in successfully, then we're going to save the token. You can see the access token here. We're going to save it somewhere, or I'm assuming that maybe Firebase is saving it for us somewhere. So we're going to use that, and only let the user navigate through the app if they're authenticated and authorized as well. Authorization is going to be the next thing. So certain routes are going to be could be blocked for the user if they are not authorized. But this is kind of it for today. I mean, we used the store a little bit. We created the registration screen and the registration form, so we can fetch the data from the user. We can update the local state, and then use that local state when pressing to register and passing the email and password to register, which is the action in the Redux store. Then that register calls the Firebase and awaits the response, and based on the response, we kind of do the type handling, which is then handled in the reducer, and the state is updated accordingly, right? So let's see, Redux create store compose. So there you go, there is compose as well, you see. So let's just do that quickly as well, because we've been doing so much today. Actually going to fix that as well, so we can see how everything is updated. Compose, right? So we can do compose, apply middleware, and at the same time we're going to use compose with DevTools. We also need to pass. Oh god, and because I crashed it, it's not gonna run it. So let's run it quickly again. But yeah, I mean, I think we've done quite a few bits today. So definitely the usage of the store was the main thing, but we also added the authentication from Firebase, which comes out of the box, and you could see how easy it is to sign up to use Firebase SDK as well. It was kind of just a matter, because we've got our Firebase set up now, we can just use it from wherever we want, and I start kind of liking it. So let's see now. Are we able? Yes, we are able to see our store, which is great. Let's see if I... that's definitely not the right email address, is it? Okay, so let's register again. Ooh, didn't update the state. And that is probably because we are using the async actions. So I'm assuming that it's probably not even calling the reducers. So that's another thing for the next week, because we are running out of time now. But anyway, it's been it's been great to host you again. And I'm going to update these tickets here now. So we spied on Firebase Auth. We kind of added it. We build the sign up form. Login form is to do, so I'm gonna keep it there. The next week is going to be to authenticate the routes. So I'm actually gonna archive it for now. But then we have to authenticate the routes and make sure the navigation is, or the router is not accessible to not authenticated user. Then let me get rid of this because we don't need this one for now. Then we will do the login screen as well, which is going to be a very similar stuff to this. I believe it's going to call some sort of method from Firebase by providing email and password, and then that is going to do something in the store to update it. And yeah, so then we will have our routes authenticated, which is great. And we'll see what to do next. So thanks very much for watching, and thanks very much for staying so long with me. Thank you very much for so many questions again. Thank you for all of your support and all of the kind of activity on the chat, because this keeps me running, this keeps me going, this keeps motivating me to do more for you guys. And it's enjoyable to be using all of those tools together with you, because you know, it's, as you can see, things get improved, things keep changing, and it's good that we kind of keep up with stuff together. So hopefully see you next week. If you do like to see more of these videos, or if you prefer to see other kind of videos, do leave a comment. I'm definitely gonna read it all and get back to you whenever I can. So it would be great to listen to what else you wanna watch, what kind of things you are interested at. And as always, I'm going to check the code in, so you can clone the code base yourself, you can play around with it, you can even open up some pull requests on GitHub. Then actually no, register screen plus authentication added. So I'm gonna push that to develop. Everything is pushed now. So yeah, if you guys wanna pull it, if you want to play around with that repo, it's all available on GitHub. The link is, as always, down below, somewhere in the description of the video. And that's it for tonight. Thanks very much once again. Bye for now.